Welcome back to Three Girls, One Mic. This episode is another solo host by yours truly, and this week I'm gonna get kind of on heavy, but I promise it's with good intentions, and it actually has to do with why this podcast was even created in the first place, which is the music industry and all of the trials and tribulations that are part of it. I know I promised last episode that this one would have a special guest, and I'd be recording it during my trip down south, but during the trip, I kind of let myself really unplug from the show, and honestly, this format that I have for this week I feel like is a lot more engaging, so it should be quite interesting. Okay, so as I said in the introduction, we're gonna get a little like controversial, little heated, depending on how my mood fucking swings during this recording. But essentially the theme of this episode is women in music, and not just like artists, but also women behind the scenes in the music industry, like photographers and journalists. Exhibit A, me, Allie, and AJ. Um, However, because I know Allie and AJ are listening. If you guys are open to starting a rock band, I am not opposed to that idea. I can teach myself guitar or bass. AJ would fucking kill on drums. Allie gives singer or keyboardist or both. You know, fucking multi-instrumental queen. So yeah, I'm thinking like a Black Sabbath vibe with a little sprinkle of Led Zeppelin. Maybe some Steely Dan. I don't know. I'm getting sidetracked. But so I just want to start out this episode talking about some female artists that like are fucking killing it, okay? Um and there's so many I could go on and on about. I'm just gonna talk about like three or four. But any woman in music, fuck yeah. So the first artist I want to talk about briefly is Ray and the Ragdolls, which correct me if I'm wrong, I think AJ knows the front woman, maybe? I don't maybe that was a dream I had. I don't know. But Ray and the Ragdolls is a female fronted rock band from, I believe, Atlanta, Georgia. Um, and it's like rock and roll, but I believe it's more like a Fleetwood Mac type vibe. So like it's giving it's giving forest, it's giving fairy, it's giving celestial vibes all around, which we love. Um, they're currently on tour, by the way. Gonna give them a little free promotion right here in this segment of the show. They're on their Moon Tipper tour, which I believe it's just some southern states because obviously that's their area, so it's easier to play shows there. And from what I'm reading, as of recording, they have one, two, three, four, five shows left. In Orlando, Tampa, Atlanta, Athens, and Marietta, Georgia. So if you live near those areas, go ahead and support some women in music. Support some fucking original ass music. Anyways, um, they're a great fucking powerhouse of a band, always. The next artist I want to talk about is Katie Tupin. Katie Tupin's kind of a niche woman, but I kind of wanted to like plug her a little bit in here. So Katie Tupin used to be she's an original member of Houndmouth, who I have talked about far too much on this show. Um, Before Houndmouth, it was just her and Matt Myers, who's the frontman of Houndmouth, making music. They have like an old bootleg CD that I've been trying to get my hands on for a while, but haven't found much luck with that. But anyways, Katie Tupin, original member of Houndmouth, she played keys and she sang as well. Um, but she left the band, I don't even know when, after Little Neon Limelight, which was, I believe, like 2015. She left sometime after that, to pursue a solo career, and her solo career is more like country-ish, I believe, but she does still play Houndmouth songs that she helped write, like Darlin', she helped write that one, and I've seen videos of her performing it solo. She is fucking great, especially if you're into like the country scene. Her voice reminds me of Sierra Farrell. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing to country people because I've seen some controversy with Sierra Farrell, but I fucking love her. So that's what that is. Next artist I want to talk about is Grace Bowers. Grace Bowers is also kind of a niche, if you're not in the rock or blues community. But Grace Bowers, let me just say this. I'm 19 going on 20 and she just turned 17. I look up to her. Okay. Um, Grace Bowers kind of went viral a year or two ago for being so young and being so good at guitar. She taught herself guitar through like YouTube videos, like those Marty Music or whatever his name is videos. She taught herself guitar through that and she's fucking good. And she's based in Nashville, Tennessee. She's played guitar for Hannah Wicklund, like I mentioned previously, Myron Elkins, and I saw she just played guitar for fucking Dolly Parton for this like charity event a little bit ago. So that's fucking killer. She was just in the studio. Like her first original music is gonna be coming out hopefully within the next year. Um, with her band, which I believe they refer to as Grace Bowers and the Hodgepodge. Might be butchering that. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, she's an absolute powerhouse. It's like her style on the guitar is like Jimmy Page, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Love Child, with a little like original flair in there, you know. But she's fucking awesome, and she also advocates for like everything under the sun, you know. She's advocated for LGBTQ plus, transgender like bills that have been like anti-trans bills that have been passed, especially in the South and like where she's from. And then gun violence, you know. So fucking great. And the last artist I would like to talk about, I do not specifically listen to this artist, but she's getting very popular recently. And that's I'm so sorry if I butcher her name. I'm really bad at pronouncing things sometimes, especially names. Chapel Roan, I think that's how you say it. Um, I'm not in it's pop music. I'm not into that sort of pop genre, but I will say it is the first original pop music I've heard in like 10 years. Um, she's great. She does amazing things for the LGBTQ plus community, especially like, you know, just like normalizing it in areas that aren't very progressive, which I believe she's from a not so progressive area. She's from the Midwest, fellow Midwest queen. So we love that. Um, and she's currently opening for Olivia Rodrigo, and that is my perfect segue into the next topic I want to talk about, which is just Olivia Rodrigo in general. I am not like a huge fan of Olivia Rodrigo. Again, pop music isn't usually a genre I frequent that much, but I wanted to talk about a recent show she had, which has been circulating on Twitter specifically, or X, whatever you want to call it. And that is the show she played say a couple weeks ago in St. Louis, Missouri. Her team rather, and the merch, whoever, handed out free Plan B to those who wanted it, and also like I think like cards that had infographics on it, for like abortion care. And a huge chunk of the profits that this Guts tour is making is going towards Planned Parenthood of America. Can we just get a round of applause for Olivia fucking Rodrigo? I mean, what? She's like 21, 22, and like making a huge difference more than like any other pop star I've ever seen in my life. Um, and also, not to get political, but just if you couldn't tell already, Three Girls, One Mic is a pro-choice show. So, but yeah, I think that's fucking great and ballsy. Fucking, I need to like move my mic so I can give a round of applause. Because like well done. I'm not totally sure how like where Missouri or St. Louis falls on like the political spectrum, but I'm gonna assume it's the conservative area. Or or maybe that's just like what I read because there was a lot of backlash. But personally, I'm fucking here for it. Olivia Rodrigo. If you're listening to this, she's not. We love you. Come on the show. I'd love to do a fucking in-depth interview. But that's that's neither here nor there. Um Moving on, I would like to talk about, again, women in music, but specifically some female-run music businesses, because duh. So, I got all of these businesses and then a few more that I just knew about from Amplify Her Voice on Instagram. It's a page that is like striving to help out women in the music industry. So please, check that page out. They do great things and they're very informative. So the first music business I kind of want to like shout out is MGG Events and Media, which is like what it sounds like, it's media and events run and founded by Aubrey Gomez. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe she posted something a few months ago that she's going to actually start pursuing music herself. Um but I've been following her for a while now, and the company because they hosted a fan event for Greta Van Fleet's Dream and Gold tour that was hosted in Frankenmuth, I believe, in 2022 after Jake and Josh got sick and Jake almost lost a lung. Um, Obviously that wasn't in the original blueprint, but yeah, I've been following that company for a while. They do great things. They've worked with some really stellar people. So, the next is Mind the Gap Music Festival, which is located in Salt Lake City, Utah. It is an all-female and non-binary lineup. Say fucking less. Um, and then the next company is a recording company, actually, or record label, whatever you want to call it. Fangirl Records, which they promote themselves as by women for women. Again, say less. And they're based in Los Angeles, as is lot of recording companies, agencies, whatever. Um, and now the next two are my personal like additions to this list. Number one, Purple Haze Magazine. Hey, hey, I'm a journalist there. Um, Purple Haze Magazine, great fucking team, great fucking women, people in general. Um, if you're looking for new music, check us out. We do what reviews, galleries, interviews, some sick shit, that's for sure. And then the other one I want to shout out is a similar magazine slash music publication. That's Moonstar Outlet. I founded that. You know, we don't have our shit together as much as the team over at Purple Haze magazine does, but you know, we're getting there. It's all a learning process, right? Just like this podcast. But yeah, Moonstar Outlet, Purple Haze magazine, amazing teams, amazing founder at Moonstar Outlet. But yeah, definitely check those out. And like I said, check out Amplify Her Voice on Instagram. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I can't like commend them enough, you know? Um, and now we're getting to like the meat, the meat of the episode of like the main thing I want to talk about that gave me this idea. So, and that is like the aspect of fangirls and how we are treated by men specifically. Ugh. Um, but I was recently listening to an episode of The Basement Yard, which if you didn't know, that is a male hosted podcast, which I know that's like a red flag, but these guys are really fucking cool. Favorite podcast of all time. I'd shout them out, but they don't need it. I think they're like the number one podcast in America now, but according to like Patreon or whatever. But um they were talking about this video that's been circulating of a Taylor Swift fan, and they were very respectful about it, more respectful than literally everybody else that I've seen in response to this video. But if you haven't seen the video, um, so it's in Australia. I don't know if I mentioned that. It's three girls sitting outside a stadium that Taylor Swift's playing because I don't think they could get tickets. Like, who the fuck actually could get tickets for the Eras tour, right? And I do believe it's staged, but that's like not really important to what I'm getting at. So it's three girls, and the girl in the middle gets very emotional, and I'm talking emotional, emotional. When a certain song starts playing, I literally can't name more than like five Taylor Swift songs, so I'm not even gonna try, but she starts playing a song and the girl starts sobbing like she just watched her entire family get murdered in front of her. And like it's insane. It's like sobs were like I was concerned for her health, like if she was breathing okay. Um, and there was a fuck ton of cyberbullying and backlash that came from that. Which Swifties, Swifties, if you're listening to this, please don't fucking like curse me or anything. I don't listen to Taylor Swift, but yeah, I'm fine with it. She's doing good, you know? Um, but I will say the Swifties get a lot of hate, which some is validated because I know like every fandom has its like weak points, right? It's crazy asses. But like I feel like Swifties are very generalized, as like crazy ass quote groupies. Because it's of sexism. That's what it is. And that doesn't just go for Taylor Swift fans. It goes for fans of literally every musician ever. I mean, um, like I've established, I frequent rock mostly, and I guess rock is like its fans are mostly male, which I really don't think that's even true anymore, but that's like the understanding of the general public. Um, like the whole name three songs on your t-shirt thing, like name three women that feel comfortable around you. How about? I was wearing what band was it? It was a Led Zeppelin t-shirt. Um, and I was at a gas station. Okay, like fucking leave me alone. I'm just trying to get my Gatorade. With the nipple tip. Oh, sorry. Anyway, and this guy was like, "Can you even name three Led Zeppelin songs?" And I was like, I want to fucking kill myself right now. Like, why am I in this situation? Why do I what? There's a guy in front of me wearing a fucking Iron Maiden shirt. You're not asking him this shit. Um, but I replied and I replied some good ones. Like I didn't just say like Stairway to Heaven or whatever. I said fucking what I say. I'm just gonna pull these answers out of my ass, but they were like songs like this. Misty Mountain Hop, fucking When the Levee Breaks. And then we'll go over the hills and far away. Like I don't know. I just feel like like I said, it's not just in rock or like Taylor Swift fans, whatever. We are constantly having to prove ourselves, and I don't like that. And there's gonna be some like fucking dudes that stumble upon this podcast or whatever, this clip, if I make it a clip on TikTok or something, and they're gonna be like, "Well, that's not true. You're just a fucking whining feminist." Shut the fuck up, first of all. Um, like I don't know. It's very frustrating. Um, it's gotten and like let me say this. There, so I don't even know how to describe this, but Greta Van Fleet, I bring them up every fucking episode. I'm so sorry. They're my favorite band though. They're our favorite band. If Allie and AJ were here, they're here in spirit, okay? Um, but like we were in the fandom. Like we weren't just fans of Greta Van Fleet, we were in the fandom and we like I don't know about I can't speak for them. Every single friend that I have, except for one from my hometown, I met through Greta Van Fleet. Okay. So like that's how deep in like the peaceful army community, whatever you want to call them. That's how like deep in it we were. And a lot of people in this community also happen to work for in the music industry, you know. It's mostly photographers from what I've seen, but there's also some more like artists even, like creative direction type things, stuff like that. And there are so many fucking whack ass people who like accuse these women of only doing this to try and meet the members of Greta Van Fleet and sleep with them. Where do you get off? That's my question. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? First of all, and another thing. So, if you don't know, the members of Greta Van Fleet live in Nashville. That's where they're based or whatever. And people always say this shit. Like, if a Greta Van Fleet fan visits Nashville or even Tennessee, they're like, "Oh, you're there just trying to like fucking meet Greta Van Fleet." Nashville is a major U.S. city, you fucking cunt. Not to mention it's the city of music. If you're pursuing anything in the music industry, you want to be in Nashville. Okay? Like, I see so many girls and they're like being accused of this shit or like stalking them, which some of the stalking is valid. They have had their fair share of stalking. But it's I'm just like, this girl is literally living and trying to make a career. Greta Van Fleet has no bearings on her with this. Or any band, whatever. And that whole like groupie accusations I was talking about earlier. Like, I'm not gonna say this band's name because they fucking suck. The members suck. Their music was good, but not anymore. Can't listen to it. Um, but I specifically was very like into this band, and I saw multiple shows of theirs. And they were sort of local to me. And then and a lot of people were in the same boat, you know, and not me specifically, but other people got accused of being groupies and just like following this band because they wanted to have sex with them. Like, what? What? We don't think with our vaginas. We have brains. Did you know women are people? Oh my God, that's crazy. Like, I don't know. I've been going on this tangent for a while. I'm so sorry, but like it's just like where's the audacity coming from? Because it surely isn't coming from any like working neurons. That's for fucking sure. It's like your brain pruned out every common sense thought imaginable. And that's impressive. Good for you. But anyways, getting at what I wanted to talk about, fans run the industry. Don't get that fucking twisted. We run the industry. Without fans, there's nothing. There's nobody to listen to the music. There's nobody to buy the merch. There's nobody to fucking engage online. There's nobody to show up to the shows. Fucking. And then it pisses me off because like, um, oh, I think a lot of artists are, at least the ones I listen to, are more humble now, just because they start out small and they go through the fucking hell and back to get where they are now. But a lot of musicians still, I'm not gonna name any names, but like, I think they take their fans for granted sometimes. And that's not cool because like without the fans, you have no job, sir or ma'am. It's mostly the guys, so let's be real. Um, and yeah, they just forget that like the only reason they're making money and getting all this fame and getting invited to like what fucking award shows or like movie premieres is because of us. And even the fans forget that sometimes. Like, no, you are the reason they are making money. Every stream, every ticket, whatever. God. Um, and there is like a really amazing interview with Hannah Wicklund, who I mentioned like 80 million times this episode. And every other one. I just love Hannah Wicklund. I don't know if I said that already. We need like a counter for how many times I mentioned Hannah Wicklund in a fucking episode or whatever. But it's a really amazing interview with Hannah Wicklund through a MGG Media that I also referenced earlier, where she talks about being a woman in the industry and her path and like the shit that she's had to deal with like misogynistic managers and just like shitty people who work at venues and stuff in general. Men, shitty men. Let's say it how it is, you know. Um, and it was recently International or National Women's Day. And she posted something about how she like encountered a like sexist like ordeal. She didn't go into detail about it at a show recently because she's on tour for her Hell in the Hallway tour. Tickets available now. She doesn't need the plug. She's kick-ass enough, but you know. Um and it was a Live Nation venue. Live Nation fired him. So that's a step in the right direction, you know, but there's always room for more, especially because it's a male-dominated industry, you know. I'm pretty sure every industry is male-dominated at this point, except for maybe cosmetology, but even then, I'm like, oh, that's up in the air. Like for instance, the cooking or food culinary industry, totally male-dominated, which I think is that's weird to me, especially because like that whole the like run-of-the-mill sexist comment is like women belong in the kitchen. Like well, the culinary fucking industry doesn't agree because that's male dominated too. I mean, I can name 10 famous male chefs. I can name 3 or 4 women and like that's anyways. Yeah, that interview with MGG is going to be linked in the episode description because it's very eye-opening even if you're not necessarily pursuing music yourself. Like if you're pursuing the business side of it, I guess. You know, it's just one glimpse at what women in the industry have to go through. And even just like taking it further through like the eyes of instead of like an kick-ass singer slash songwriter slash guitarist slash my idol. Like let's look at like a photographer, for instance. The photography, music photography anyway. Again, male dominated industry. Um, those women have to go through so much shit and like I saw this really funny meme the other day from Amplify Her Voice that I also mentioned earlier. And it was like talking about how female music photographers and like journalists, whatever, um they get said like the same shit like, "Oh, it's not paid, but it'll look great on your portfolio," stuff like that. And like that is a thing for all creatives in the industry, but also like it's more consistent with the women. The men are like obviously statistically more likely to get a paid gig. Um, and that's just like one example. I know I could whip out like a million, but you guys are probably already annoyed with me. So, once again, I want to thank you for tuning into Three Girls, One Mic, and I actually do want to note some things out before I fully end the recording, so just hang on for a little bit, please. First things first, please make sure you're interacting with the show on our socials, which are linked in that episode description. And please leave a 5-star rating if you're able to. I'm not sure if you are through Apple Podcasts, but you definitely are on Spotify. Because it truly helps us get the show out there more to more people, which obviously is going to allow us to serve up better content as we keep learning the ropes to the show and everything it involves. Um, Secondly, I do want to formally say that the next episode will be our season finale and it'll include all of us. You have my word this time. I can't say when that episode will be as of recording right now, but the moment we have a set date, it'll be announced on our Instagram, so please keep your eyes peeled for that. Again, in the podcast description for this episode. We're gonna pick back up this fall or the end of the summer when life slows down a little bit for all of us, especially concert season. And we're gonna be back and better than ever. Hopefully. The last thing I want to lay out is that every organization and artist I mentioned in this episode is listed out in the episode description, so you can check those out, which I seriously urge you to do. And please, I cannot say this enough. Support women in music. Support women who are fucking fans. Support local and small artists as you know them. Fans run the business, and we can truly make waves if there's action taken. But enough of my spiel. We'll see you next time on the Three Girls One Mic, season 1 finale.